Welcome back to It's Always About Me podcast, where we explore what it truly means to live and grow as imperfect, beautiful human beings. I'm Ashpreet Kaur, and today we are diving into embracing our imperfections with self compassion. Let's be honest, we live in a world that bombards us with highlight reels, Photoshop images, curated feeds, endless advice on fixing ourselves. But what if the real secret to happiness isn't about fixing, but about embracing? What if our so called flaws are actually the most lovable human parts of us? Today, we are going to talk about how to meet our imperfections with self compassion, not self criticism. We will bust with the myth of perfection, dig into the science and practice of self compassion, learn how to befriend our inner critic, try out practical tools, and discover how embracing our flaws can unlock real growth. So, whether you are working or curled up with a cup of coffee, take a deep breath. This is your invitation to let go of the pressure to be perfect and to show up as you, just as you are. Chapter 1, The Myth of Perfection. Let's start with a confession. I used to believe that if I just worked hard enough, planned well enough, or looked good enough, I could finally reach this magical place called perfection. Maybe you have felt that too. But here's the thing, perfection is not only unattainable, it's also a moving target. The minute we get close, the bar shifts. We are told to be productive but also relaxed, confident but humble, authentic but polished. It's exhausting, isn't it? I remember a time in college when I poured my heart into a project only to focus on the tiny mistakes I made. Instead of celebrating what went well, I obsessed over what I could have done better. Perfectionism doesn't make us better, it makes us anxious, disconnected, and afraid to try new things, getting out of our comfort zone. But what if we could rewrite the script? What if instead of chasing perfection, we embrace our flaws, messy, unpredictable, and real? Imperfection is not a problem to be solved. It's the birthplace of creativity, connection, and courage. When we allow ourselves to be imperfect, we give others permission to do the same. We create space for real relationship, honest conversation, and surprising joy. So, as we move through this episode, I invite you to notice when perfectionism shows up in your own life, and instead of criticizing yourself, try offering a little kindness. You might be surprised at what unfolds. Chapter 2, What is Self Compassion? Now, let's talk about self compassion. It's a buzzword these days, but what does it actually mean? And why is it so powerful, especially when it comes to embracing our imperfections? Psychologist Dr. Christine Neff, in self compassion research, describes it as treating yourself with the same warmth, understanding, and patience you would offer a dear friend who's struggling. But let's break down her three core components because they are more than just nice ideas, they are practical tools for daily life. And I know I've used these three components in other another episode of mine before, but let's just break down this in brief. First, self-kindness. Self-kindness means being gentle and understanding with yourself when you fail, make mistakes, or feel inadequate rather than ignoring your pain or lashing yourself with harsh criticism. Okay, tell me something. If a friend of yours comes to you upset about a mistake, do you berate them? Of course not. You listen to them, comfort them, and reassure them. Yet when it's us, we often do the opposite, and that need to stop right now. Self kindness is about catching that critical voice and choosing. Instead, say to yourself, it's okay. Everyone messes up and you're still learning. It's okay to make mistakes, it will only help you get better. Second, common humanity versus isolation. This is a recognition that suffering and imperfection are part of the shared human experience. When we fail or feel inadequate, it's easy to feel alone, as if everyone else has it all together. But the truth is, everyone struggles. Common humanity means in remembering that you are not the only one feeling like this way. Imagine a world where we all admitted our struggles, how much lighter would we feel? By recognizing our shared humanity, we resolve shame and create space for empathy, both for ourselves and others. Third, mindfulness versus over identification. Mindfulness is the ability to hold our painful thoughts and feelings in balanced awareness rather than suppressing them or getting swept away by them. It's about noticing what's happening. I'm feeling anxious or I'm disappointed in myself without exaggerating or denying it. When we are mindful, we create a little distance from our pain, enough to respond with compassion instead of reactivity. It's like setting aside a friend who's upset rather than being lost in their emotions. When you put these three together, self kindness, common humanity, and mindfulness, you have a recipe for resilience. You create an inner environment where it's safe to be imperfect, to try, to fail, and to grow. Let's try something together right now. Take a slow, deep breath. Place a hand on your heart. If you feel comfortable silently, repeat. I am human. It's okay to be imperfect. I choose to treat myself with kindness. Notice how that feels, even if just for a moment. That's the heart of self compassion. It's not about ignoring your flaws, but also about meeting them with warmth and understanding. Chapter 3, the inner critic, befriending the voice within. Now, let's talk about the inner critic. That nagging voice in your head that loves to point out your flaws, replay your mistakes, and convince you that you are not enough. We all have an inner critic. Sometimes it sounds like a harsh parent, a competitor, co worker, or even a childhood bully. Its job, believe it or not, is to keep us safe from rejection or failure. But it often goes overboard, making us feel small and unworthy. Here's the twist. What if instead of fighting or silencing the inner critic, we tried to understand it? Imagine your inner critic as a wide friend who's just really, really bad at giving advice. What if instead of believing every harsh word, you could say, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I'm okay. I choose kindness now." Let's try a quick exercise. Think of a recent mistake or embarrassment. Notice what your inner critic says. Now imagine responding with curiosity. Why are you so worried? Often, you will feel that underneath the criticism is a desire to help or protect. By befriending the inner critic, we can turn down its volume and turn up the voice of self compassion. Remember, you are not your thoughts, you can choose which voice to amplify. Chapter 4, Practical Tools to Cultivate Self Compassion. So, how do we actually practice self compassion in our daily lives? Here are some practical tools you can try. No perfection required. First, the self compassion break. When you are struggling, pause and say to yourself, "This is a moment of suffering. Suffering is a part of life. May I be kind to myself in this moment." You can even place a hand on your heart or give yourself a gentle hug. Second, compassionate letter writing. Write a letter to yourself from the perspective of a wise, loving friend. Acknowledge your struggles and offer words of encouragement. Read it back whenever you or your interpreter gets loud. Third, Mindful self talk. Notice when you are being harsh with yourself, gently reframe your self talk. Instead of, I'm such a mess, try, I'm doing my best and that's enough. Instead of, I always screw up, yeah. Try, everyone makes mistakes, I can learn from this. Fourth, compassionate pause in the movement. When you catch yourself spiraling into self judgment, pause. Take 3 deep breaths. Ask yourself, what do I need right now? Sometimes it's a break, a walk, a glass of water, or just a kind word. Fifth, celebrate your small wins. Notice and celebrate movements when you choose compassion over criticism. No matter how small, maybe you forgave yourself for a missed deadline or spoke kindly to yourself after a tough conversation. Every act of self compassion is a victory. Every act of self compassion is a victory. Remember, self compassion is a practice, not a destination. You won't get it right all the time, and that's okay. The point is to keep showing up for yourself again and again. Chapter 5, Embracing Imperfection as a Path to Growth. Here's the paradox: the more we accept our imperfections, the more we grow. Think about the Japanese art of kintsugi, where broken pottery is mended with gold. The cracks aren't hidden, they are eliminated, making the piece more beautiful and unique. Our imperfections are not weakness to hide, but invitation to connect, create, and evolve. When we meet our flaws with compassion, we become more resilient. We take risks, try new things, and bounce back from setbacks. We become more authentic because we are no longer hiding behind a mask of perfection. I invite you to reflect. Where in your life are you holding back because you are afraid of being imperfect? What might change if you met that fear with compassion instead of criticism? Growth doesn't become flawless, it means becoming more fully yourself, cracks and all. Thank you for joining me in on this journey into the heart of imperfection. If you take away one thing from today, let it be this: you are worthy of love and kindness exactly as you are, messy, flawed, and human. The next time your inner critic types up or you stumble on the path, remember, compassion is always available. You don't have to be perfect to be enough. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who needs a little self compassion today. And don't forget to subscribe or follow to It's Always About Me. For more conversation about living bravely and authentically, connect with me on Instagram. It's Always About Me podcast. I would love to hear your journey of self compassion. Until next time, be gentle and yourself. Embrace your beautiful imperfections and keep shining your unique light in the world. Take care and see you soon.